dude bros and everything else in between? How y'all doing? Happy fucking New Year! Oh yeah, we're gonna be starting off this video with a big bang, and I wanted to talk about something semi-political, semi-philosophical, and I saw something on Twitter the other day concerning Tim Pool. Now, I just got to say this because I think some people might misinterpret my sarcasm in this. This is not to denigrate or insult Tim Pool's mental capabilities or whatever. I'm not calling him an idiot. This is just me having fun saying Timmy, basically. Like Tim Walls and Timmy. I'm applying that to Timmy over here. So that's what we're going with. So do not at me in the comments section if you think that is the case. It is just fun to say Timmy. Alright, now that we got that shit out of the way, he posted something the other day that I thought was kind of interesting, and of course there's lack of context on my part in knowing what made him and what preceded him to write such a post, and I feel like this post kind of captures the problem with the understanding of a little bit of this existentialism crisis, I would say, and it is a legit one that a lot of people are experiencing because the elites have done such a fantastic job with having to sweep and reprogram people's brains and in some cases, I don't know how big it is, the whole white guilt thing is stupid, by the way, and if you honestly believe that, you're a fucking loser in my book, because there's nothing I can do about being white, even though I am of Italian descendants. It doesn't appear to be. You know, that olive skin is a little bit deceiving, but I digress. Timmy ended up posting something that I thought it would merit its own video, and it's going to be a simple one. I know that we could go on and on and on, but when I see this, I could apply it to Canada. I could apply it to Quebec. We could apply it to a lot of places that lack a particular foundation that it's been obvious from day one. We all know that laws are arbitrary, constitutions and the rule of law are arbitrary, the courts or Supreme Courts in a way are arbitrary. A lot of these things are arbitrary. Treaties are arbitrary. I don't believe that it's only as it's only as valuable as you make it. But I've always stated in the last few years that you're not going to find the major importance when it comes to private property and the all-encompassing power, and it's important that we say this right now. You're not going to find this thing here that I'm about to say in your politicians, in your laws, and hell, even in democracy. The will of the people when it comes to a majority rule, it's fucking bullshit, which to a point there is some practicality. But when you live in a society that don't value what it is I'm about to say, then we have problems. So the post in question from TIMMEH was actually yesterday. What a good way to end the fucking year, by the way. He turned around and said that I'm sick of the libertarian, neo-lib, and neocon argument that life is just a number. Culture matters. Our dreams matter. Our values matter. Now, obviously, the first part, I'm a bit puzzled by because I don't know the context. I don't know what's going on that preceded him to say this. Now, I have, there's going to be a lot of, you know, hey, good job, Captain Obvious. Yeah, I know, sue me on that. I have to, at times, play that asshole who states the obvious, you know? Yes, I know, I'm wearing all black. Some people might dispute in the comment section, that's something else, but I just might be fake news or some AI thing. Anyways, so I think the first part is questionable. What made him say this? Now, obviously, neolibs, neocons, and libertarians are not a monolith. I'm not going to agree with every single thing that when you play identity politics in this case, that's just life. Just like here in Quebec, do you think I'm going to agree with every Anglophone that I encounter? No. As a matter of fact, the last year has demonstrated that I'm not, it's the story of my life, I'm not liked in most places regardless, even though I'm a little bit of a shithead. Calling people socialists somehow merited me being banned from the fucking group, and they thought I was a Trump supporter. The lack of consistency is what I was pointing out, and whatever the fuck. When people want to sit down and want to keep claiming, well, I can post whatever I want, no one's stopping you, but when you're gonna have people that do not share the same views as you, they are going to ask you questions. They are going to challenge you in some way. Don't get all pissy about it because you're an admin. You could, you're not, you don't have, that sort of power is only online. Take a fucking chill pill, losers. But anyways, I don't get along well with Anglophones, and the point is, we're not a monolith. I don't know any, okay, maybe in terms of numbers when it comes to the neolibs and neocons, in terms of war, yeah, that actually makes sense in that case. But in terms of libertarians, I don't know, okay, dude, which libertarians you're talking about. And no, spare me the whole libertarian socialist thing. I'm not sure that's even possible. I can understand how ANCAP libertarians are a fucking thing, but libertarian socialists? That's pretty discordant in my opinion. I'm not sure how that fucking works. But regardless, obviously, not all of us libertarians are the fucking same. We're not. But the last part, I have to mention something because it's pretty obvious. Everybody keeps talking about the West is collapsing. We're definitely undergoing through a different shift. We're definitely going through a lot of changes for better, for worse, for the good, bad, beautiful, and ugly. Everything. Everything is coming before our eyes. Well, systems that didn't work, things that we should be kept or at least improved on, and in some cases that have been good thus far. Why fix it if it's not broken? Type of thing. At least starting in the microcosm. But when it comes to culture and dreams and values, here's my thing when it comes to that. I don't know where TIMMEH is getting this from. What's the context of him having to say this, number one? And number two, yes, culture matters. People's visions and dreams and things they want to pursue matter. And values matter. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure what he's disputing here. But the one thing that is very important, as I've stated, since my OG Made in Liberty channel, and I'm stating it here, the foundation that is very important, that is all-encompassing and that bleeds into all of this is liberty. That's the thing that people are fucking missing. I don't know any libertarians in real life that will just simply say that life is but a number. In what case? Age? Yeah, that shit's arbitrary too. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're wiser. Talk to your boomers, to your boomer parents these days. Have you noticed they're starting to complain about everything? Yeah, that's not very wise of such a thing, because they're, get off my lawn type of thing. I don't want to be like that because it's annoying even to my own ears. It's like nails on a fucking chalkboard. And just makes me want to, take my fucking head and bash against a concrete wall and nothing's gonna happen. But regardless, in terms of war, yeah, I could see that happening. But again, I'm lacking context. I don't know. But whomever it is that you're talking to, that's an interesting thing. No one's just gonna say that out of the void. That's coming from somewhere. Culture does matter. Dreams, visions do matter. And values matter. Absolutely. But without liberty, you can't have any of these things. You can't have it. That's why I've stated a bazillion times. What's the fucking point? And I'm going to apply it here in Quebec because it applies here greatly. What's the point of you guys protecting your culture if there's no liberty, if there's no respect for private property? A case in fucking point, the OQLF has no reason to exist. It shouldn't exist anymore. It should have been abolished a long as fucking time ago. And the fact that you need laws, these draconian, unnecessary fucking laws to be telling people the size of your font being bigger in French than is in English is a paranoia that is still screaming from the 1970s. We don't fucking need that. And even though it's here, is it really enforced? I'd say to a point, but we never tried capitalism. We never tried letting the market of ideas and the consumers deciding that, rather than still having wasted money flexing the muscle of the state. It's not needed. You guys were used to it for many, many years, and until the pandemic came around, nobody made that connection. Nobody thought to think that an individual has sovereignty over themselves and private property actually fucking matters. That's why I've stated that liberty is not negotiable. Moving into this year, you guys have to get used to that. And you can protect your culture all you want, but you know what? At the end of the fucking night, what's the point of you guys sharing this vision, sharing these values if there's no way of a human being to naturally just live their life? You need liberty in society. You can't be orderly all the time. That's not how this shit works in terms of antithetical forces. And I know I'm being philosophical here. And then you can't be too dictatorial. I mean, where's that balance? I would say get rid of all this shit and let's try something new. Let's try something better than having to go to Big Daddy government. How much did Lego increase the fucking government? I know with Cuban Fabio, we did it. It's like at 43%. I mean, that's not really liberal. Liberals, true classical liberals will say, that's fucking bullshit. Y'all need to start shrinking. And when we say shrinking, I mean afuera type of shrinking. And that also applies in Quebec. Alright? Décalisse, 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 goodbye, fuck you, and that's it. There's no negotiations. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because without liberty, bleeding into these things, that is what makes a human and really touches that human spirit, regardless of your background, that human spirit, you can't have a culture, you can't have these dreams, and your values won't matter. Canada is a good example of that. If you guys haven't learned that by now, then guess what? You're stuck in the past and you're going to die in the fucking dust. I'm sorry, this is the freaking reality of things. You need to leave people alone. Yes, we're not discounting all these things, but who said it's but a number? Who said that? In some cases, life as a paradox, in some cases, numbers kind of do matter. But at the same time, the human essence also fucking matters. We can't be all spooky woo about it only on these two sides here. I'm saying this as a bilingual anglophone libertarian living in Quebec and in Canada, having more resonance with American values than Canadian. You see how fucked up? Well, it's not really fucked up, but there's nuance here. There was a lot of violations of my private property. That cannot be forgiven. It's not going to be forgotten. Forgiven, forgotten? Yeah, but there's no amnesty there. So at the end of the day, without liberty as the foundation, none of these things could manifest. Because these are things that are a reflection of a people. The American motto, at least today: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Is that not the same thing with culture? Embracing that through culture, embracing that through sharing a vision, sharing your dreams, and in some cases, people's nightmares too. And values, that makes fucking sense to me. But without liberty, these things don't fucking matter. And liberty is not negotiable. So yeah, that's basically my point. If you haven't learned that by now, you're stuck. We're not having this conversation again. Unfortunately, in terms of Canadian standards, we should have had this conversation a long fucking time ago. But thank you, TIMMEH, for pointing this out. Peace out.